This year I'm going to bake Christmas magic by creating a totally over-the-top show-stopping dessert to share with my favourite people. Now my baking friend Charlotte Reed challenged me to a bake-off. She's set to make a dessert in under 2 hours, but I thought we would go a little bit more dramatic with a Christmas tree Bombe Alaska. Now this recipe does take a few days, so you want to make sure that you start things nice and early and get prepared. The first thing we're going to do is bake our sponge cake. So into our mixer, we're going to pop our White Wings plain flour, some corn flour and our CSR Caster Sugar. With the whisk attachment on, we're going to whip this up until it resembles a fine breadcrumb. Now we're going to pop in our wet ingredients and whip this for a further 1 minute. Then this will get poured into an 11-inch square tin and bake for 25 minutes. Now here's a little hack: if you don't fancy whipping up a sponge from scratch, you can use a White Wings vanilla cake mix that will work perfectly. Now to build our show-stopping Christmas tree, I am using a mini croquembouche mold, but you can also use a manila folder rolled around into a cone or some cardstock. Now that our sponge is beautifully baked, we're going to use our molds to cut one big circle for the base, and then we'll flip it over and we'll trace this smaller end, and that's going to sit in the top. Grab your favourite store-bought vanilla ice cream or feel free to churn your own. We're going to add some fresh or frozen raspberries into this bowl along with some rosewater. And then for the smaller layer, we're going to pop in some pistachios and coconut. Now it's time to assemble our Christmas tree, but before we do that, we just need to line all of the tin sides with some cling film. So first we're going to place that small circle of sponge into the base of the tin, right at the point there. And then we're going to take our raspberry rosewater ice cream and pop this in and smear it all around the sides of the tin. We're going to pop in our pistachio and coconut ice cream, so when it's cut into, it's going to be a big surprise of Christmas colours. Now our final step here is to place that big layer of sponge on the top and give it a bit of a smoosh down. Now this is going to go into the freezer for at least 24 hours, but up to a week is fine. So now that your tree has set in the freezer for long enough, we are going to make our Italian meringue to decorate. So we're going to pop our CSR Caster Sugar into a heat-proof, very clean bowl over a bain-marie, plus your egg whites. Then we're going to heat this over medium heat until no sugar granules remain. So you can just pick it up and feel if any sugar granules are there. Pop this back onto your mixer, and then we're going to whip it to stiff peak meringue. So now that we have whipped up to a beautiful stiff peak meringue, we're going to grab one big scoop from this bowl and pop it in here. One big scoop into a second bowl. We're going to tint this one red, this one yellow, and this one green. Now this step can be done up to 24 hours beforehand. So we're going to take a really warm cloth, pop this over the cone mold, and then we can lift this up to reveal our ice cream tower. Now we're going to load up a piping bag with our green meringue and pipe all the way around the Christmas tree. Now, if you do find that it's a really hot day or your ice cream is starting to melt, you can pop this back into the freezer at any time and keep piping when it feels safe. So our red and yellow meringue is going to make up our Christmas baubles. If you find that you pipe and you get a little point on the end, pop your finger in some water and just push it back into place. Now this is the showstopper moment. When you're ready to serve, place your Christmas tree on the table in front of your guests and remove anything flammable. We're going to lightly warm our brandy, ignite it, and then pour it over to flambé. finishing touch is a little icing sugar to make it look like a frosty tree, and then we get to serve this up to our guests.